Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My 16 female, dad's family comes from old money. His parents never approved of his relationship with my mother, and neither did they approve of her pregnancy. He didn't see me for the first 10 years of my life until my grandparents died. Before that, when I was 7, my mother started to date Melissa, my stepmom, who has a daughter named Grace, who's 2 years older than me. She used to be mean to me because she had a dad and I didn't. Things got worse when she found out that I did have a dad. He just wasn't around me. Her dad had to intervene to make the aggression stop. 3 years after my dad contacted my mom, he explained what happened, and we reconnected. Grace has changed too, because at the same time, her dad started to distance from them until he ended up moving 2 states away to be closer to his new wife's family when I was 13. I remember that during the first years, if my dad brought me something, he'd buy something for Grace too. Not as big or meaningful, but he never left her out. She usually threw fits at Christmas because he usually buys me tech, phones, iPads, laptops, headphones, and only gets her clothes. Pretty and good clothes, to be honest. This Christmas was the worst though. Since Grace has to move for uni next year, her mom wanted to bring her grandparents, uncles, cousins, and dad to celebrate. So she asked me to spend New Year's with my dad this year. I said yes. My dad came a few days ago to drop our gifts off, in which he included a brand new car because now that Grace is moving, she can't take me around anymore. I was honestly so happy and excited. When Grace and her mom arrived and saw the car, they thought it was for her, from her dad or grandparents because she's the one leaving for college. But my mom kindly explained to them that my dad dropped it off for me. They didn't like it, but anyway, they were excited about the small party for Grace. This morning, my mom and Grace were at my grandpa's dropping some stuff off, so it was only my stepmom and me. Around 10 a.m., Grace's dad called and said that he wouldn't be able to make it and that he wished her luck before hanging up. It was so messed up. My stepmom was so mad, and when I asked what I could do, she said she'll show me and started to take all my presents from the tree. I was confused, and when she took my keys, I asked what she was doing. She said that Grace didn't need to feel like second best during this Christmas too, and that I'd have to open them later. I said that she couldn't take the things my dad gave me, and she only answered with a, "I'm your mom, I can do whatever I want," and hopped in my car and left. I called my mom to tell her what happened, and after that, I called my dad. He told my moms that if Melissa didn't give back my things, he'll report them as stolen, including my car, and while my mom is torn between us, Melissa and Grace said that I ruined Christmas because my stepmom might go to jail, and that not everything is about me. Why is OP being punished for what Grace's father, a grown man, has done? And why does Melissa think she has the right to take OP's stuff? OP should not feel bad. This woman and her daughter seem to think that their feelings are more important than OP's, and that's just not true. Grace is now technically an adult, and what she and Melissa are doing is petty and childish. OP should let her father report this stuff as stolen, because it has been stolen. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Not the a-hole. The only person who ruined anything was Melissa. She raised a spoiled, entitled, mean child, and apparently, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. These people suck. Not the a-hole. Not everything is about you. But the Christmas presents your dad got you literally are. It's messed up of Melissa to act like there's some kind of competition going on between you and Grace over who gets the most attention. And frankly, it isn't helping Grace at all. It sucks that her dad has distanced himself, but that is not your fault. You didn't do anything to Grace. You didn't ruin Christmas. Melissa ruined Christmas by literally stealing from you. Stealing is a crime. And if she didn't want to go to jail, she shouldn't have done it. Stealing from your stepchild because you don't think she can do anything about it doesn't somehow make it okay. Your dad is absolutely right to demand that she give your belongings back, and I can't understand why your mother would even be torn. She needs to worry less about placating her wife when she's being toxic, and more about protecting her daughter from the toxicity. Of course, she could have worried about that years ago when Grace was picking on you too. Well, Melissa did steal your car and other gifts. She's the one who ruined Christmas. You and your dad are being lenient and giving her an opportunity to return them before he reports the theft. If your mother can't convince her to come to her senses, it will be Melissa who is 100% responsible for the outcome, not the a-hole. My husband died 3.5 years ago. I always thought we had such a good marriage. We rarely argued, always supported each other, and both worked and raised 4 kids together. In 2012, I started a master's program, so was away from home a few evenings a week. Our kids were all grown and moved away from home. My husband was so supportive. When I had tons of homework on the weekends, he would leave the house for the whole day so I could work undisturbed. Now I know why he never resented leaving me to go visit friends. He wasn't visiting friends. He was spending time with his girlfriend. I never had a clue. This is how I found out. Today, I finally cleaned out his nightstand. I've cleaned everything else over the last 3.5 years. His dresser, closet, tool shed, all his stuff from the garage. But today I started emptying his nightstand. I found so much stuff. Cards and notes from her, a very expensive men's watch and gold chain necklace I didn't buy him and never saw him wear either. The notes were all signed Fred with a heart around it. I pulled out his phone that I had saved. I charged it and opened it. I searched through all the messages for women's names, checked all the messages, all good. Then I noticed a Fred in his contacts. Fred was actually a Freda, about 40. All the pictures she sent him showed her as quite fit and pretty. Everything was dated starting in 2012 while I was at school. Some of the pictures were in my home. He had her here while I was at school getting a degree. Many of the pictures were at her home with her kids. Then there was the ultrasound, and her asking him what he was going to tell me. When was he getting divorced? She wanted this child to have its real father. He kept telling her soon that he loved her, but didn't want to hurt me. I couldn't stop reading. I felt like my heart was being ripped out of my chest. The last 9 years of my married life was a lie. The last messages, ultrasound and demands, were late 2018. He told her he couldn't leave me because I had cancer. He needed to concentrate on me and make what we thought were my last months good. They agreed to go no contact for a while. He was the best husband during that time, coming home early to help and cook dinner, going to every appointment, staying with me in the hospital, supporting me, and was my rock. I had a great surgeon and medical team, and the cancerous tumors were removed. In April 2019, he got a text from her with a baby picture. It said, "I have a son. You have an ugly, fat, sick wife. Enjoy your life. I'm back with my ex." There was no response from him to her, and no other exchanges. I've been crying off and on all day. My daughter lives with me and keeps asking what is wrong. I told her it was really hard cleaning out her dad's nightstand. Should I leave it that way, or destroy the image she has of her dad with what I found? My 4 kids have a little brother out there. Should I tell them, or leave it be and play ignorant if he ever tries to contact us? I thought I had moved on. I recently started dating and have felt in a good place, but now this. I just don't know how to handle this devastating situation. I don't think I would tell the kids anything right now. I would wait until OP has had time to process all the information and emotionally recover. It is very painful information, and I would want to protect my kids from that pain if I was OP. Also, that child may be his, but it may also not be his. If it's his, the truth might come out one day, or it might not. So I'd rather wait and protect the kids. And now let's hear the community's opinion. I agree with other commenters that talking to a therapist first is the way to go. However, don't hide this from your adult children. You are the victim. You shouldn't have to carry the burden alone. They are a big part of your support system. What your late husband did was reprehensible. He is the one who should take the blame. You are not alone. You may wish to eventually tell the kids, as otherwise they may find a half-sibling when the child is an adult. But you can do it on your timeline. A therapist may help you process everything. How crazy confident was this dude to leave info like that in a nightstand? It almost sounds unbelievable. OP says, "I think he felt I would go first. I had cancer twice, was diabetic and overweight. He was robust and fit, rarely even had a cold, strong and healthy. Who would have thought virus would spare my life and take his? Plus, he was a hoarder and saved everything." Don't lie. It always comes out in the end. You want them to realize you were lying to them as well? The kids need to be prepared. The affair child may reach out to them as siblings to get to know them. You don't want them to be blindsided by that. The ex-affair partner may try to hurt you guys by randomly throwing it in your face sometimes. Her attitude in her last text shows she isn't the nicest. That would be a horrible way to find out. I'm 24 female, getting married to my fiancée Marie, 25 female. Marie's family and I are super close, and they adopted me into the fold basically, because they know I'm basically estranged from my own parents. Before my parents reached out about my wedding, I had not seen or spoken to them since June 2021. So before I got into the current issue, let me explain some background. My parents had me when they were 30 and 32. They had been married for 8 years by then, and both were settled into their careers. Ever since I was a really young kid, my parents were very open and honest and clear with me that they were each other's priority, and their spouse was more important than their kid was. They told me I would never come before their spouse. What this looked like is, my school had a parents' conference on a Friday, but my parents liked their date nights on Friday. So my parents didn't go, and didn't care about repercussions for me. My dad had a work dinner the same night I had an awards night. Mom went with Dad to the dinner. Mom and I both caught a really bad flu when I was 9. I might have been 8. Dad made sure he prioritized taking care of Mom, and when it came to seeing a doctor, instead of trying to get both of us in, Mom went first. They'd take time off work if the other was sick so they could care for each other, but mostly I had to go to school, even when school policy said no. I was left with a family member one night because Mom had a work party, celebration. I was rushed to the hospital that same night because of my appendix. My parents didn't show up until the party was over. Dad didn't want to ruin Mom's night. Once the school bus didn't show up, my dad's car was in for repairs, so Mom was driving him to work. They said they didn't have time to take me, so I had to spend the day with the elderly neighbor and didn't go to school. My parents didn't even call the school to tell them, so I got crap the next day. They missed my high school graduation for each other too. They often told me how much they had already sacrificed for me and how I shouldn't expect more, and especially not at the expense of their marriage, relationship. Eventually, I was like, yeah, you know what? We don't need to be in each other's lives. Clearly, I'm just a burden, even though I was actually planned. My parents would sometimes call to tell me something, but that took forever. I never intended to invite them to my wedding, but they found out about me getting engaged, called me up, asked why they hadn't been told by me, and wanted to know details so they could arrange their schedules now. I told them they weren't invited. My parents told me not to be silly, because of course they are. This is when I told them I was surprised they wanted to come, since it's not about them. My parents called me rude, and said I had no reason to be so standoffish about this. They told me common sense would say they will be there. Am I the a-hole? They have no right to be there. OP's parents probably just want to enjoy the attention they'll get for being parents of a bride. They were negligent parents at best. They haven't been a part of OP's life for some time now, and they don't deserve to be a part of it in the future. And now let's see what the community has to say. But Mommy and Daddy, my spouse's mental health comes first. They're my priority, and they don't know you, so they don't want you there. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. They planned to have you, and then basically left you on your own your whole life. I would keep them out of everything for the rest of my life. What do your friends and fiancé's family think of their behavior towards you? Not the a-hole. Also, a well-deserved and frankly hilarious retort. I'm sure you know this already, but what your parents did to you is not okay. They chose to have a child, then essentially blamed this innocent, you, for having needs that they were unwilling to fulfill. Should parents have their relationship time and date night? Yes, absolutely. Their relationship is important too, but not more important than the completely dependent life they chose to bring into the world. I wish you so much love and healing, and I'm glad Marie's family loves you as well as your neglectful parents should have. I will keep this as clear as possible. My daughter used to be married to Ryan. Ryan cheated on her and they divorced. During the divorce, my daughter learned she was pregnant. She informed me she wasn't going to tell Ryan, and I thought she was joking. The baby was born, and she was telling everyone that Ryan abandoned the kid. I couldn't do it. Even if he was a bad partner, my grandkid deserved to have her father in her life. So I told Ryan, and he was pissed to be blunt. A huge court custody issue, and in the end, he got parental custody. My daughter went no contact due to me betraying her by telling Ryan. Since then, I haven't really heard from my daughter. Ryan has been in contact with me. He was really grateful that I informed him. My grandchild is now 4, and during his custody time, he will sometimes visit me. I'm very happy to have a relationship with my grandchild and try to be a good grandma. I got a call from my daughter calling me a jerk, that if I had any respect for her, I will stay out of her kid's life. Ryan informed me that legally she can't do crap about this situation. So the moral question is, am I a jerk for being in my grandchild's life, even if my daughter hates it? Not the a-hole. Bad partner doesn't mean bad parents. While what he did was awful to your granddaughter doesn't deserve to be punished, a life without a father, because of it. You are 100% right, and I hope her anger will subside. Also, while you have contact with your granddaughter by means of your ex-son-in-law, most countries will 100% guarantee visitation rights for grandparents or anybody significantly important in a child's life. So probably yes, she can't forbid you to see her daughter, and family courts are not very kind to parental alienation. Not the a-hole. She lost her moral high ground the second she decided she wouldn't tell her ex, and telling others she wasn't informing her ex. On top of that, claiming her ex abandoned her for, I'm assuming, a sympathy ploy. Hopefully she gets the therapy she needs to realize that she isn't respectable, so why should you? Not the a-hole. You were put in a terrible position. I admire the fact that you chose the needs of your granddaughter, having her father in her life, even though I am sure you knew that you were risking your relationship with your daughter. With a mother that clearly has such questionable morals, this child will need all the love and support they can get. You are not being a jerk. You are being a good grandmother who put her granddaughter first.